before he met Granny, he came from near Toowoomba, somewhere, Crow's Nest, was it? What was his job before he met Granny? He was on the railway, wasn't he?
Yeah, see, he probably didn't come anywhere near from the Downs. We found out now since he was working. He was living at Sandgate somewhere, and he was working on the railway lines.
Oh, in Sandgate somewhere.
Well, on that Caboolture line somewhere.
Oh, okay.
He must have been working on that line somewhere. On the, checking the lines with others.
But he
railway fettlers, or what do they call them? I'm not sure.
I think I have heard that word before. It's unfamiliar to me because we don't hear it today, of course. But fettler on the railway, I've heard mums tell me that. But he was reared in, what's the place called near?
Well, he was supposed to have lived at Ubini. It was Ubini, which is near Pittsburgh.
That's right. Had heard that. So
and that's where I went up through that person who was running the tennis club, and her father still lives at Pittsburgh. But we couldn't find any. There was nothing. They put me on the thing. She suggested, no, maybe I felt like going back there. That some libraries have historical information,
and maybe some photos or something to look through.
That's right. But it seems to me that I think they might have lost the farm, and when he was very young, I don't think that. My father was basically, he didn't tell us too much about it. He used to tell us that he came from a farm, but I think it's since I had my family history done, it appears as though he wasn't there that long at all afterwards.
Do you think it was a dairy farm, or you're not sure? Did he ever mention what sort of farm?
No, it wasn't, but it was. I think it probably was a dairy farm, probably in cream or something, but I don't think he had any experience.
So he really came to the farm when he met Granny, and then had to take it on without much prior experience, possibly.
Yeah, that's true. I think I don't know how he met Granny, or I think Granny. I never ever asked Granny. I don't suppose anybody here did. Did she leave home when she got that job up at Caboolture, so that school somewhere near Caboolture? Did she live up that way? No.
I don't know that history of Granny. Did Granny work up at Caboolture, did she?
Well, she was at a school. She got transferred to a school up that way, as far as I know. But I've never ever discussed it with her. She would have told us everything.
Yes. Do you think so? That's when she probably met.
Yeah, she met him at the dance up there or somewhere like that. Probably, but I never even asked her.
So possibly because she was working up there as a teacher then. So she met him when she was a teacher. Because she was a teacher working up near Caboolture somewhere, and he was a fettler on the railway, and they possibly met at a dance then up there.
It seems obvious because he could dance, and he had an Irish background, but Granny didn't really. Or she did in a way, but it wasn't ostensibly. She didn't use it as a trigger for anything. I don't think. I mean, the Buckleys did come from it, but I don't even think that you'd ever know that Granny, that Nana Gimp I'm talking about, it never displayed any Irish tendencies in her life.
That's very interesting because really...
Can you remember anything that she said about Irish? She was married to a person from Denmark, a Danish person. Yes. That could have camouflaged everything.
It could have, and we were only very young, remember, when she died. So
she showed no interest in... And when I knew her, I never heard of one... sort of tendency towards the Irish that she, you know how Irish people, they talk about Ireland, they think about.
Yeah, that's true.
You would have thought that her mother might have passed down some Irish history, but she had problems with her mother, didn't she?
But she was raised by Timothy Buckley mostly, and then wasn't she? So yet he would have been pretty Irish, wouldn't he? Timothy Buckley.
Well,
so you'd almost like where do we sing the Irish songs from? So we all know the Irish songs, and Dad sang them. So Dad must have got them from somewhere,
Yeah, well, I think, I mean, if I'm honest, I think the Irish heritage culture came through my father's mother, Hannah.
Right.
Because she was really talked Irish. I was flat out understanding her. She talked that real Irish talk. You can't.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was the one. Nana Ginther didn't have any Irish to talk at all about. And I don't know about Nana's mother. I never met her.
So you met Mick Flynn, your father's mother, who was Hannah. How much did you have to do with her? Like, do you remember much of her?
I don't remember her too much. I can remember her coming up to the farm once. She gave Kathleen some very interesting times when she came up, because she wasn't young. I think she might have lived till she was about 1950 or something.
How old would she have been?
Oh, I think she would have been a fair age. She would have been in the 70s.
Did Granny get on okay with her, or?
Well, that's where she was at an age where she had a little bit of dementia, I think, really. So Granny was not understanding of mental health problems.
Right. So Granny was a bit
she come up a couple of times, but the last time she came up, Granny swore that the first time she came up, a lot of things on her favourite things were gone missing.
Oh,
so
really?
Granny says, I'm going to fix it this time. I'll check her pool, I'll alert her and check her pool. And sure enough, she rescued a lot of her things the second time.
Really? Do you think that would be right? Because Granny wouldn't have made it up, would she?
No, but I'm just saying that she's got an excuse.
Because she had possibly the Alzheimer's going on at that point.
She had an excuse, and one of the terrible injustices of this world is that we judge older people by what they did in their very last times of life.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying that, putting on a disclaimer that I could get dementia.
Well, any of us couldn't we? That's the thing.
That's right.
Any of us could, and as you say, so Granny probably didn't meet it.
Granny didn't realise that. Granny thought she wasn't looking at it. I think she was at that time, because she was only young too. She was that mother-in-law.
Yes, that's true. Do you remember where she came from? Where she was living, Hannah Roach at that time?
No, I didn't know where she was living. She certainly wasn't living with Joey Gregg's family. I don't think Aggie. Aggie was supposed to be close to her, but I don't know. Sadly, I don't know too much, because
she'd had a pretty tough life by the sounds of it. Like, it was her husband that was Martin Flynn, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, she would have had a tough life, having got the information very late in life.
Yes.
And myself, and my father didn't divulge anything. But that was not just him; it was part of the culture of the times.
That's true. We were just talking about. We're not sure if the camera only just went off, but we were just talking about Hannah Roach, Uncle Peter's father's mother, and that she possibly had a bit of a tough life because she was married to Martin Flynn, and of recent years we've discovered that he was a tough person to live with, and may have been a bit of domestic violence there, a bit of alcohol there.
Well, I just want to go back to Hannah Roach first. She had a marriage in New York first, where she was married to. I haven't got my family history.
We'll have to get the book next time.
But she had two daughters and a son in New York, and then the husband died. We never quite, in my person that did our family history, he couldn't quite find out what happened to him.
That's the husband in America, isn't it?
Yeah. Whether what was the real reason, but anyway.
And what were the name of the children? So she had Aggie over there and two other children over there, did you say?
Yeah, one was a son, which I've got it all in the family history. I haven't looked at it for a while. But he would... Well, yeah, that was a bit of a mystery too, because he left his wife too. Wasn't a good story, was it? He didn't have a very good story to tell in Brisbane.
That's Hannah Roach's son.
Hannah's son, yeah.
Was he number
Aggie's
two?
Brother.
Aggie's younger brother, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think the two girls were first. I'm not sure, but
that's okay. We can look that up later.
Yeah, but so she had a pretty. And the rumour, and it appears as though she might have went back to Ireland after New York first and come out by ship. Just still, we didn't find her entrance into Australia, but she went to Toowoomba because that's where. She went to Toowoomba first, and that's where she must have met somewhere on the line.
Martin Flynn. And she had 3 children with her at that point.
Yeah, as far as we know.
And so she came possibly back to Ireland after leaving New York, and then came to Australia, settled in Toowoomba, probably met Martin Flynn somewhere in Toowoomba.
Yes, he was at Pittsworth and somewhere, somehow they might have both been in an Irish club in Toowoomba, who knows?
Yeah, that's right.
We don't know their
how they met.
And we certainly weren't going to get told any information through my father, who made it a closed book because he was made out that he. See, I think that's the other thing. I always thought that when he left on it, he sometimes had a couple of breakdowns for about a week.
Is this Mick Flynn, your father?
Yes, he worked pretty hard, and there was rumour at one stage that he went up to link with his father, but his father passed away apparently in about 1937 or something, so that didn't happen at that time. So I'm not quite sure what happened, but he knew some relatives. That was the thing that we were told later, but we don't know anything again. Who knows?
So he may have had a tough childhood himself if his father was a pretty tough
he did
father.
Have a child, there's no doubt.
And there was him and Morris, so it wasn't there after. The first 3 were born in America, and then 2, Martin Flynn in